Hi there, my name is Beck, and you're the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I wasn't really going to do a video on this, but you know, I think it's actually going to turn out to be a really big deal. I think this is actually a very big deal, and I think it does affect us here in fandom. I think it started in fandom, and I think it reflects a lot of the struggles we've seen here at the Fandom Menace. That we're talking about the great GameStop revolution, the great GameStop rebellion. What is it? What is it? What's going on? It's very complicated. It's not very complicated. It's something you've got to have a reasonably arcane knowledge of to understand exactly what's going on and why it's important. Listen, you want to know what's really going on in the world. You want to know what's really going down. Follow the money. Follow the money, and that's what we're doing here. I think, yeah, and I got the same vibe from this as I got when when COVID, Corona started. You're like, what's this? How is this such a big? I thought it was kind of crazy. People weren't shaking hands anymore. Oh yeah, it's got the same vibe as that. As I think this is going to mushroom and explode into something quite significant. So anyway, I'm going to take you through it. I'm going to take you through what it is. I'm going to take you through why it matters, and more importantly, why it matters to you. Before we do that, can I ask you guys, can you hit the like button? That would be freaking awesome. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Comment is great. I would like to hear your thoughts on this comment, but mostly hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. It is Fan-Dabby Double Dosey. This is, yeah, you listen, if you are one of the voiceless plebs, such as myself, right? You know, if you're one of the, proletariat, which I think I'm quite happily list myself as. If you're one of those people, right, you want to stick it to man, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. It is the only expression of personal power that we actually have in the face of massive global corporation. Now, you think this is kind of lofty and insane? Wait till you hear the story, and you're going to want to hit the subscribe button. Listen, it's not quite as a profitable way of this revolution, of fighting the man, but it's a much lower risk. So hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. If you subscribe, of course, you can enter my weekly competitions. The prize this week, other than being updated on all the very, very important news of the day, what's happening in Doctor Who, and is the world going to end? Right? Yeah. I cover all these things. You also get to enter my weekly competitions. The prize this week is Judge Dredd, the complete case files, volume 18. This is the Machismo. I don't know how to pronounce it. Storyline. It's freaking great. If you've never read Judge Dredd, it's freaking awesome. All you need to do to win it: subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, and in the comments, leave the hashtag. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Machismo. Go check the video notes. Everything you need to know to win is in the video notes. The prize draw is given on Tuesday, and then we're going to be we pick out a news prize for the week. While you're in the video notes, of course, go check out my Indiegogo. Listen, this is the way I'm planning to monetize the channel. YouTube been on at me to start memberships. I don't really want to do it. I would like to give you something of worth and value. Honestly, that's how old-fashioned I am. I would like to offer you something of worth and value you might enjoy. So I have these 2 graphic novels. I'm going to be launching them in 2 weeks, on not this Saturday, not next Saturday, Saturday afterwards. I am launching them. I surely should look up the date. So I'm building up an email list. You want to join the email list because I'm giving away a ton of freaking prizes, an absolute ton of prizes on launch night to random backers, right? And you want to, so if you want to get the inside track, you add your email address to the sign up list. Of course, everything's confidential. It must be confidential. It's run by Indiegogo. They don't want to get sued. If you join the email list, you get one of these 4 slightly dirty or reasonably dirty art cards with any purchase. Unless you buy the package where you get all 4 of them anyway. In that case, you get a 5th. Chaser one absolutely for free. Fine. So let's talk about the great GameStop revolution, right? The great game, and it's freaking people out. It's freaking people out. Far more than the Capitol insurrection. It really is. So there's been a practice where hedge funds do this thing called shorting stocks. So this is the first thing that people normally switch off from. They are, what the hell, shorting stocks? So it basically works like this. Let's say you have a stock, right? And you can gamble that stock is going to go down in value, right? So one person goes to another person and says, can I borrow that stock? Can I borrow that GameStop stock? It's currently like $10. Can I borrow it for 1 month and then I will give it back to you? Now, I don't know What's in it for the lender? They must get interest, or it's probably one hand scratching the other back. It's like it's probably like a a relationship such as that, where they help each other. There must be some advantage to the person lending it, right? Because they're about to, you're about to hit what happens. So what they lend them the stock for 1 month, and it's worth $10. So then they gamble, sort of gamble, but it's kind of a rigged fight. Because the action of doing this, the action of shorting stock, the action of these big brokerage houses, these hedge firms, gambling that your stock will go down, makes the stock actually go down. It creates the stocks to go down. And also, I think they work in lockstep with a lot of the legacy media to create that actually happening. That stock is going to go down in value, right? That stock is going to go down in value, and then say after a month it's worth $1. So then you just give $1 instead of $10, right? And you use that to make quite a bit of money. You can make money doing pretty much anything in the stock market, if you know what you're doing, right? Which I don't. This is from clever people who told me this, which I don't really understand. So what's going on is this. These hedge funds, these massive hedge funds, thought that several companies could very much sell the idea that they would lose value. GameStop being one, it's a brick and mortar store, and their value was based on being in malls, which is just worthless right now in a pandemic. AMC cinemas, those sort of things. However. I would call them a bunch of revolutionaries, right? There's a sub. I don't really understand Reddit. There's a subreddit channel dealing with stocks, where they just encourage people to buy GameStop stock, forcing the price up through the roof. So now, what a stock that was 3 weeks ago worth $4 is now worth, as of yesterday, about $330. It's gone down to under 200, to under 300. It's like 280 now. So, and we're going to talk about why. $330, which means these hedge funds that borrowed the GameStop stock, expecting them to go down. Now, when they give them back, instead of paying $1, they need to pay $330. They need to pay 80 times what they pay. They're going to lose a lot of money. How much money are they going to lose? $70 billion. $70 billion is going to be lost by these massive hedge funds through this revolution. That's a mind-boggling amount. And the reaction to it has been swift and panicked, absolutely panicked. So we've had brokerage apps and brokerage firms refusing to let ordinary people like you and me buy that stock anymore. Because once that stock went up, there was then a run of it that made it go up even more, right? It inflated the stock. This is what these hedge funds have been doing. And over the past year, the past 12 months, we've seen, I think the figure is about $168 billion leaving the middle and working classes, and we've seen the elites have their value swelled by about $170 billion over the past 12 months. It's the biggest transfer of wealth that's ever happened. And it's essentially designed to turn the middle class into a slave class, right? That is the ultimate goal, right? To take away independence from them, and it seems to be the way they go. However, people just got their $600 stimulus checks. They go, sod it, I'm putting $600 into GameStop or $300 into GameStop and see where. Listen, if you'd done that in like 2 weeks ago, you would. Let's say you put $1,000 into it, it would have been worth $80,000 as of 2 days ago. Before these brokerage companies cause the stock not to be able to be bought by normal people, and the stock, and essentially causing the stock price to implode, which is exactly what's going on. So now legal action is going on against these was it Robinhood and a bunch of them is going on because they're causing a capital loss. So, but what does this really like? What does this really mean for the brokerage companies? They're like, fine. Absolutely fine. Let these, do your class action. We'll probably have to pay out 10 million, 100 million, 200 million. We're not going to have to pay out 70 billion. We're not going to have to pay out 70 billion. And it's exactly the same thing as with car recalls. If a car has a flaw in it, that will cause people to die, but they're going to have to pay less in lawsuits for putting that than it would cost them to recall the car. They'll just let people die and pay off the lawsuits, right? The bottom line, follow money. The money is where everything goes. So we're in a really interesting situation right now where the young Republicans are calling to reoccupy Wall Street, and they found an alliance with the left wing as well. And also we have the right wing and the left wing unifying somewhat over the reaction to Corona we see in Netherlands. Netherlands is like one step away from civil war right now. And I can see that spreading all over the world. I can see that absolutely spreading, all over the world. In fact, it bears in mind, you should bear in mind that when did all this identity politics stuff start happening? When did it take over the world? It took over the world when Occupy Wall Street went down. A business person says, introduce the word identity politics, and they did. They paid a lot of these extremists, these identity politics-driven extremists, to bring identity politics into the fore, which is exactly what happened. And they forgot about Wall Street. So, first thing to say is when anybody brings up identity politics or tries to distract you from that, that's exactly what they're doing. So that's the first thing I want to show you. AOC likes to pretend she's a populist. And let me see, this is the right slide. There you go. AOC likes to pretend she's a populist, although calling AOC apparently is sexist now. So, Senator, is it Senator or I had a Congressman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she likes to pretend she's a populist, but no, she's not. She's very much part of the corporate body, right? So she I think Rashida Tlaib, who I think is actually much more genuinely of the people, even though she doesn't like Jewish people that much, started calling out. So they have alliances, so she had to tweet her support for this alliance. So then, interesting enough, Ted Cruz came along and said, I fully agree with you. I fully agree. This is incredible. A real bipartisan unification, right? A bipartisan unification, something that we can really bring the country together, right? Not so much for AOC. So she immediately rears this like divisive identity politics, which is the entire thing is based around. She goes, I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but this, you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago. No, again, stop clutching your pearls and screaming. None of that happened. You're insane, right? And you're saying this inflammatory language to make people forget about the this revolution, this rebellion that's going on Wall Street. Again, $170 billion have been transferred from the middle classes, from small businesses to the elites, the super wealthy, right, over the last year. And we're about to see a $70 billion retransfer, which they are not putting up with in any way, shape, or form. And she needs to distract from this because she's part of this corporate machine. But you was having me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this out. Happy to work with almost any other GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign. So I don't know how much of this is her being just insane, or how much of it is her being cynical. My guess is it's somewhere between the two. But again, when people start dividing us, they're the enemy. They're always the enemy. When people start to try and divide us, they are always the enemy. So CNN did an article on this, and I actually think they, while they coming at it from completely the wrong angle, they had a lot of valid points, which is, I guess a stop clock is right even twice a day. So let's look at this. So CNN says how Trumpism explains the GameStop stock surge. And yes and no. Listen, there are four. What's the expression? There are four boxes that one can use to express their anger within society. You have the soapbox, which is you're here right now, baby. A soapbox. You have the ballot box. What's the third one? You have the jury box, and then finally you have the ammunition box. Right. So. I would say that for better or for worse, better or for worse, the former president was certainly perceived, and I don't know what the truth is. My truth is, I think he probably was, as being on the side of the common man, the ordinary person. He uses a soapbox, he used the ballot box, and we've seen him have the soapbox, the ballot box, and the jury box all removed from it, and not from him. Which is a very dangerous thing. It hasn't been removed from him. It's been removed from the average person, right? We've had a removal of freedom of speech, right? If you said you believe there to be electoral fraud, which there are, legitimately, actually matters of allegations and evidence to support those allegations. You had that soapbox removed from you. The ballot box, well, I think that that's what they're talking about. The jury box, no court would listen to this, not because they didn't have merit, because I think they are scared of having their houses burnt down by Antifa or BLM mobs, right? And I think they're pushing it to the ammunition box, which is basically the only thing that people have left. I hope it doesn't happen. I think it was Kennedy that says if you were JFK. I think if you remove, I'm paraphrasing, and it's going to be a bad paraphrase. If you remove the ability for peaceful demonstration, you guarantee violent revolution, right? And I think, I think these big tech companies are people who just don't realize it. So anyway, let's have a quick read of this article. How Trumpism explains the GameStop stock surge. At the core of Donald Trump's angry populism appeal is this sentiment: the elites think that they know better than you. Well, they do, don't they? I mean, are we not saying? Listen, have you not seen this through this entire last few months, where they go, there is no electoral fraud, and if you think so, it's because you're a moron. You see all that evidence over there? Doesn't exist. Fugazi, not there at all. Yes, they do think they know better than you, even though they constantly make your life worse. They think they can tell you how to live and what to believe. They do think that, don't they? But guess what? We, the people, are smarter than the elites. Now, we, the people, are not as well educated as the elites. But speaking of somebody who has mixed in, I would say, reasonably wealthy society. Generally speaking, these people are dummies. These people who work in corporations, they're dummies. These bankers are dummies. These ultra-rich people, generally speaking, are dummies, right? And they don't need not to be dummies because they have all the money in the world, right? So where CNN is wrong is they think that Trump was the one who created this sentiment. Then he's not. He is, who was it? Tim Pool, I think, described him as the imperfect avatar for that sentiment. So Trump elucidated this in an argument as populist form at a rally in North Dakota in 2018. He says, I meet these people, they call them the elites. These people, I look at them and say, that's elite? We got more money? That's the point. That's what the GameStop rebellion is telling us. Like a billion people with a couple of $100 each can cost $70 billion to these $70 billion to these very, very wealthy people. We got more money. We got more brains. I know them. I met them. Yes, you do. Listen, you have smart people everywhere, but generally speaking, you have smart people everywhere, which means, don't think because you have a better education, you're more intelligent. You're not. Listen, I know academics. My sister's an academic. I love my sister. But I have nothing but disdain for academia because, again, over-educated morons have not done any good for the world. We got more money, we got more brains, we got better houses, apartments, we got nicer boats, we're smarter than they are, and they say they're elite. No, they're the wealthy. We're the elite. You're the elite. We're the elite. So again, he thinks they believe he's generating this feeling with them. No. He's tapping into this outrage that The 1%, remember that 1%? That 1% have complete dominance and control over the 99%. He's tapping into that, and it's not like their 1%'s leadership has been particularly good. You know, the way that a class system actually worked, right? And when it did work, about like 100 years ago, when people were generally speaking much happier, that everybody took responsibility for their class, right? If you were of the elite class, you took where it fell apart is where they didn't do this. You took responsibility for the people who live on your land. You took responsibility. Their well-being was your well-being, and that's how it's supposed to work. That's how a class system is supposed to work in a fair way. But they want to erase that. So the other day I said, let's keep calling these people, and let's face it, they've been stone cold losers. They have. I mean, again, look what they've done to the world. The elite. So let them keep calling themselves elite, but we're going to call ourselves. And remember, indeed, you work harder, you do. You're indeed smarter than them, you are. Let's call ourselves from now on the super elite. We're the super elite. So this goes on, but essentially the story is like this. This is a genuine revolution going on. This is a rebellion. This is following money. This is transferring wealth from people who have just stolen it from you over the last year, and they don't like it. So, here's where I can see it going south very, very quickly. The new president, Biden, is very much on the elite team. He is a supporter and a proponent for the elites. I don't think the elites can afford to let the common person, you and me, disrupt the apple cart that they've set up to disadvantage us. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can risk losing their wealth, which is their only power. And I think they've installed Biden in office. Big tech certainly played a very, very important role in that, and I think they expect to be paid off. And the reason the way they want to be paid off is by the Great Reset. Build back better. What does build back better mean? Build back better means let's build back better. We'll be in our fancy houses, and let's get rid of these middle class oiks. Let's get rid of these middle class oik and have you go back and live. Live like the proletariat losers that you are, while we have complete control over you. They want to make a slave class, and this is a genuine rebellion against that. I don't know where it's going to go. Listen, the heart is the captain of the ship. The heart is the captain of the ship, and that means what you want to believe is what you will believe more often than not. I'm a super religious, Bible thumping creationist. I genuinely believe we are taxiing down the runway for an end of days apocalypse scenario. And I'm kind of just waiting for it to go down. I think it's going to happen very soon. I think it's happening within the next 6 months. There's all these Kabbalistic prophecies that kind of all lining up, right? This, I think, looks like it could be a significant part in that. It really does. This is something you want to keep an eye on. This is something that I think is of interest to us in the Fandom Menace, where we have suffered. We have genuinely suffered by having things that we absolutely love and adore. Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, ripped away from us by these elites that think they know better than us. And they've been very upset that we haven't swallowed the nonsense they've been shoving down our throat. And I think they're not going to tolerate us uppity, unwashed masses. So I don't know where this is going. But keep an eye on the head. But keep an eye on this one. Keep an eye on this. I think this one could explode. My name is Felix Becken, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.